Coming up, we'll take a look at what's new at Coastal Carolina Hospital, and we'll hear about some important changes in South Carolina's organ donor registration process. All that and, of course, the latest headline business and entertainment news right now on the Bluffton News. Welcome to the Bluffton News. I'm Anneliza Itkor, and these are Bluffton's current headlines. Charlotte-based Crescent Resources LLC has planned on building 1,300 homes in Palmetto Bluff that would have created 146 acres of impervious surface. Impervious surfaces in combination with stormwater runoff, which can carry fecal matter, is often cited as a culprit when bacteria levels make shellfish beds unsafe for harvest. In a news conference last week, Mayor Lisa Sulka announced that the town of Bluffton had reached an agreement with Crescent Resources that is a win-win situation for all involved. Crescent Resources agreed to build the 1,300 homes in a less environmentally sensitive area and will also donate 6 acres for a stormwater retention pond the town will build using town funds and a grant from the EPA. The pond will treat 300 surrounding acres, removing 80% of harmful bacteria, which in time should make more shellfish beds safe for harvesting. In return, the developer will be able to choose where the homes will be built, either in other areas of Palmetto Bluff, off US 46, or within town limits. Officials did not place a value on the land or home site relocations. In an effort to recoup millions in overdue property taxes, late fees, and treasurer's office expenses, Beaufort County will be holding its delinquent tax sale October 1st at the Charles Lynn Brown Activity Center in Beaufort. While over 2,400 mobile homes, condominiums, commercial properties, and vacant land are currently delinquent, the county ultimately expects to auction about 1,000 properties. Those who owe have until close of business on September 28th to settle up, or the property will go to tax sale. However, even if a property is auctioned off in the tax sale, all may not be lost. The owner of a property sold at the auction has 1 year to reclaim it by paying the delinquent taxes and interest on the sales price. If a property is reclaimed, buyers get their money back plus the interest. If a property is not reclaimed, the former owner receives whatever money remains from the sale after taxes and fees are deducted. It's estimated only about 15% of properties sold at auction will actually transfer to the highest bidder. About 200 bidders from across the country are expected to participate in this year's sale. In this year's Bridge Bowl, it was no contest as the Bluffton Bobcats crushed Hilton Head High School in an 80-14 victory. Coach Ken Cribb said the Bobcats entered this matchup with extra motivation because of the off-season kidnapping of the team's mascot from Bobcat Stadium. Fuel was added to the fire when a hostage-style video began circulating around Bluffton High. Call it retribution or call it simply great football, this victory takes the Bobcats to 6-0 for the season. For their next matchup, Bluffton will take on Beaufort for homecoming on October 5th. With only final building permits left to clear, crews will begin pouring foundations for a new Bluffton Fire Station 30 within the month. Construction on the 9.2-acre site at the intersection of Burnt Church and Bridge Street will take about 9 months. The new $2.2 million facility will replace the current Station 30 just a stone's throw away next to Town Hall. Station 30, originally planned as a volunteer unit, is the oldest of the 6 fire stations in Bluffton, and engineering reports from 2 to 3 years ago gave the facility another 2 to 3 years of life. Purchased by the fire district for $1.2 million in December 2010, the site will house a fire truck, 4 firefighters, an ambulance, and 4 emergency medical technicians, with enough space left over to accommodate future expansion. The new station will be funded from the district's reserves and will not require any borrowing. And here's what's happening around the state. Counties along the Savannah River remain seriously dry despite summer rains that improved drought conditions elsewhere in the state. According to the State Newspaper of Columbia, the 3 major lakes along the Savannah River Basin remain well below their long-term average levels for late September. Yokasie Lake is the lowest at 14 feet below average. The official drought status is severe for 5 counties, moderate for 9 counties in the state's northwestern region, with the rest experiencing a a less severe incipient drought. The State Drought Response Committee meets this week and will likely decide to improve or remove drought designations for much of the state. The Savannah River Basin, however, did not improve over the summer and remains perilously dry. Winter rainfall will be crucial. An 18-year-old Conway teen was charged with felony drunken driving after his vehicle collided head-on with a van, killing a 52-year-old passenger and injuring others. According to the Sun News of Myrtle Beach, a sport utility vehicle driven by Jordy Calhoun crossed the grass median of U.S. Highway 17 business and collided with a van carrying a half a dozen people. Both vehicles were overturned. Wesley Samuel of Columbia was killed in the crash that happened at about 1:20 Saturday. Officers say he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Calhoun is charged with 2 counts of felony driving under the influence, one for death and the other for great bodily injury. Everyone in the van was taken to a local hospital. The crash shut down the southbound traffic lanes for several hours. Lynne Gant of Walterboro has been sentenced to more than 2 years in prison for being the mastermind of a scheme that involved the fraudulent application for $680,000 in student loans. Federal prosecutors say the 48-year-old woman got about a dozen friends, family members, and co-workers to apply for online college classes and get financial aid with no intention of taking the courses. The people filing the false applications got a small cut of the money. Federal prosecutors say a second ringleader, 28-year-old Marquita Fishburne of Walboro, was sentenced to 5 years of probation. Gant and Fishburne pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit mail fraud, wire fraud, and student aid financial fraud. For more information on these headlines and more, please check out the media sources you see listed on your screen. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Coming up, Lynne Hummell of the Bluffton Sun has an insider's view of what's making news as the Bluffton Sun brings you hot off the presses, and Shellie West-Hodges brings us the Bluffton Business Report when we return with more Bluffton news.
The smoked chipotle burrito is really good.
Yeah, my zesty cheesesteak burrito's great.
Are you familiar, Pete, with the phrase, don't mess with success?
Yeah.
Because this is not only messing with success, this is taking success to the cliff and shoving success over.
Success said, oh, please, I'll do anything, leave me alone.
These burritos didn't even hear that. They heard, oh, put, and that was it. It was just like, whoa. Egg everywhere.
Wake up to sirloin steak and fluffy eggs with the new zesty cheesesteak and smoked chipotle breakfast burritos. This is how you Sonic.
Welcome back to the Bluffton News. Joining me now is Lynne Hummell of the Bluffton Sun. So Lynne, a Bluffton teacher recently has earned a very high honor. Tell us about that.
That's right. Bluffton High School social studies teacher Erin Reichert has just been named the Beaufort County Teacher of the Year. She is in her 6th year at Bluffton High, and she's a very creative teacher, and she encourages her students to get involved in their community. And it was Ms. Reichert who started the Youth in Government program. And if you remember, the Bluffton Sun did a story last March or May about the youth taking over town council, and that was one of the projects that she had with her student. And it's evident from her students that they're not only learning a lot, but they're having fun doing it.
That's great. Now, what does the Teacher of the Year receive for her efforts?
Well, in addition to representing Beaufort County for the State Teacher of the Year program, she also gets highest accolades, a really cool parking spot, and a brand new 2013 BMW to park in it.
Not bad at all. All right, well, moving on from the sublime to, well, kind of the ridiculous, Smarty the chicken case. We've heard about the chicken. It sounds like there's a base, it sounds kind of like a child's riddle, but why did the chicken go to court?
Well, Smarty is the pet chicken of the Stewart family in Bluffton, and the family was cited for running afoul of the town's animal ordinance that bans livestock without a permit. But last week, Bluffton Municipal Court Judge K.N. Darby threw out the case because the arresting officer didn't show up in court.
Gotcha. Now, Smarty is safe now. He can stay with the family?
Well, we're not sure yet. Since the case was made public, the Homeowners Association at Mill Creek, where the family lives, has notified the Stewarts that their covenants also prohibit such an animal and have asked them to find a new home. So the Stewarts are going to appeal that case as well, or that order as well.
I hope that they're successful. Being an animal person and a pet lover, I do hope that they're able to keep Smarty in their household. All right, real quick, the Locomotion Walk. Very exciting. This is a big event here in the Low Country, and there's a lot of Low Country folks getting ready to take this long walk. Give us the details.
Well, very quickly, it's a 3-day, 30-mile walk, and there's still time to register. And there'll be 10 miles each day starting on Friday. And you can go to www.dothelocomotion.org and sign up. Kicks off Thursday night with a kickoff party at the Boathouse on Skull Creek on Hilton Head at 5 o'clock. The walks are at 9 o'clock each morning, one on Hilton Head, over to Kalawasi, and then back to Hilton Head on Sunday.
Well, we absolutely encourage everybody to sign up and support this effort. Lynn, thanks so much.
Thank you, Anneliza.
On today's Bluffton Business Report, Shellie West-Hodges is taking on the financial scene here in Bluffton as we take a peek at some of our banking options. Shellie, welcome.
Thank you, Anneliza. It's great to be here.
Now, let's first take a look at one of the new kids on the block. I understand there was a recent ribbon cutting.
Yes, Bank of the Ozarks just celebrated a grand opening and ribbon cutting over in Belfield Village, and it's a great bank that's been around for a very long time.
Now, so we say new kid on the block figuratively. They just have a new location. Did they expand a little bit?
Yes, they just moved to a new building, and actually Bank of the Ozarks has been around for a long time, since 1903. And they had a great celebration with catered from Jim and Nick's, and had some good turnout with some elected officials that also came out for the event.
It's not often I think of having a party at a bank, but I guess obviously it is possible, and I wish them the best of luck. Now, we do have another banking option here, and you know, every bank kind of has their own personality. What sets Palmetto State Bank apart from some of the other options we have here in the community?
Well, Palmetto State Bank is really a true local-based, truly family-based bank, and they originated out of Hampton, and they were the first bank here in Bluffton.
The very first. Now, that means they opened their doors when?
They opened their doors in 1981, and they were actually here until 1995 was when the next bank opened. But they are owned by the Lafitte family and are based out of Hampton. They have a bank in Estill and different small towns, as well as Bluffton, and it's a great family residential. They do a lot of residential banking and relationship-based banking.
Good, so there's a very local community feel to that bank. Now, how about Atlantic Community Bank? What do they bring to the table?
Now, Atlantic Community Bank is a newer community bank to Bluffton, but was organized by many old Bluffton residents and some folks from Ridgeland, and they organized the bank in 2006. And they're more commercial based. They work with businesses and really try to network with their clients. And they also opened up a second branch on the island in 2007. So they're doing really well. It's a great bank.
Terrific. Well, Shellie, thank you so much. It's very informative. Now, when we return, we will be meeting a new face at Coastal Carolina Hospital, as well as receiving some very important information about some new rules in organ donation in South Carolina.
Tara's Men's Den, located beside Tara's Salon at the Moss Creek Village, is a full-service salon for men only. Open Monday through Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. We offer haircuts, color, highlights, waxing, and treatments for hair loss. No appointment necessary, so come enjoy a relaxing atmosphere for men only, and don't forget senior discounts every Wednesday. Call or visit us today. Our number is 843-837-5555.
Welcome back to the Bluffton News. Coastal Carolina Hospital has been a familiar presence here in the Low Country since 2004. But joining me is a new face on the premises, Bradley Talbert. He's the new CEO. Brad, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, Anneliza, happy to be here, and thank you so much for the kind words. I'm a local South Carolinian, raised in the upstate, married a Low Country girl from Beaufort, South Carolina, and we've made our home here in the Low Country. And just happy to be a part of such a wonderful organization at Coastal Carolina Hospital.
Now, there's been some exciting news recently at Coastal Carolina. I understand they were recently recertified by the Joint Commission as a primary stroke center and center of excellence for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. We all know that as COPD. What does this mean for the hospital and for the community?
Well, I think for the community it means that they've got a facility in Coastal Carolina that they can trust to provide high quality care here locally at home. Being recertified by the Joint Commission as a primary stroke center is a huge accomplishment for our organization. We have a wonderful relationship with the Medical University of South Carolina through a telemedicine program to provide 24/7 coverage for stroke care, and we're the only hospital in the state south of Charleston to be certified by the Joint Commission as a primary stroke center. We're the only hospital in the state, as you mentioned, with COPD care, the only hospital in the state certified by the Joint Commission currently as a COPD Center of Excellence. And with Dr. Bob Bernal as our medical director, we provide high quality care in that arena as well, and just very proud of those two niche programs, the services that we provide here to this community.
I'll tell you, we're very fortunate here in the Lowcountry to have this type of facility available to us. Not only did you have that great news, but also this year the hospital received a top recognition from your owners, Tenet Healthcare. Tell us about that award.
Sure. Anneliza, again, very proud of our hospital, our colleagues, our medical staff. 2012 was a year of great accomplishment, 2011 was a year of great accomplishment for Coastal Carolina Hospital, and we were recognized in early 2012 with a Circle of Excellence Award. Tenet has 50 hospitals across the country, from South Carolina to California, Texas, Pennsylvania, all parts in between. And we were one of 6 hospitals out of the 50 selected for excellence in quality of care, in management of our financial indicators, as well as growth and other performance indicators. So very, very proud to have a team of colleagues like that here in the Lowcountry.
It sounds like you're taking the helm of a very accomplished facility. Brad, best of luck to you in your new position.
Thank you, Anneliza. Happy to be here and happy to spread the good word about Coastal Carolina Hospital.
I am delighted now to welcome Linda Hay, who is a volunteer with Lifepoint here in South Carolina. Linda, let's start off by explaining to our viewers what Lifepoint is.
Lifepoint is the organ and tissue procurement agency in South Carolina that assists in a registry of donor organs and tissues from volunteers and from people who have made the decision to become a registered donor in the state of South Carolina.
Now, Linda, this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. My father was a recipient of a heart transplant, and he was a transplant surgeon himself. And one of his big things was educating the public. And I know that is a role that you have stepped into. First off, let's explain a little bit, how big is this list of organ donors? What are these potential recipients looking at?
Well, we're in the middle of college football season. The University of Michigan has one of the largest stadiums in the country. I believe they can hold over 100,000 people. So just put that vision in your mind. There are 115,000 people that are currently waiting for organs in the United States. There will be 8.
That's pretty impressive.
Right.
And it's kind of mind-boggling, that number. How long does someone wait on that list before they receive an organ?
South Carolina has one of the shortest waiting lists. It can be a matter of weeks. It can be a matter of months. In my personal situation, my husband needed a liver transplant. From the time that he was registered, it was within 1 week that he had a donor liver, and that was 4 years ago.
Now, it used to be, there was sort of a very simple process that you could indicate on your license that you were an organ donor. And I understand there have been some changes in South Carolina. Can you please relay this important information to our viewers?
Absolutely. If you have a heart on your driver's license, that was the old registration. That considered you had the intent to be a donor. Currently, if you have a heart that has a dotted line around it, that means you give your consent to be an organ donor, an organ and tissue donor. What you can do is when you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles and renew your license, then you can request to be an organ and tissue donor, and they will put that indicator on your license. You can also go to donatelifesc.org and register in that manner too. And it's a great way to do this. It's a good thing for your family. You plan for your estate, you have a will. Why not plan what to do when you die, when you can be a donor?
You bring up a very important point. One of my father's motto was share your life, share your decision. And even though I understand in South Carolina, you no longer have to have familial consent, because it used to be even with that donor indication on your license, you still had to have familial consent, and I understand that's no longer the case. But it's very important that you do discuss with your family what your decisions are.
It always makes it a lot easier. If you're over the age of 18 and you do go through the registry, you will be giving your consent to go ahead and become a donor. And I think it's very important that you do let your family know, because it will just ease them. And it's a time of tragedy when someone passes away.
Yes.
And to be able to give the gift
well,
of life
Linda,
is wonderful.
thank you so much. Such important information you bring to us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
After the break, Rodney Vaughn will take us inside the Bluffton Oktoberfest and also give us an idea of what's coming up here on the Bluffton News.
Okay, so it's a romantic dinner for two. Now, I've already cut some tomato. Time for the vinaigrette. You are gonna love this. Okay, we need some sesame seeds. My favorite pan. Now, what's really important is...
With Merillat cabinets, you'll discover function that's irresistible.
Good thing I'm not the jealous type.
Welcome back. We now bring you Rodney Vaughn with our entertainment report.
Thanks a lot, and I'm coming to you today from Old Town Bluffton. Old Town Bluffton is kicking off Oktoberfest and their season of fall festival events in Old Town. Today's event has drawn a couple of thousand people to the Old Town Promenade area. This area is really becoming developed in Old Town, and we host lots of events here. A couple of thousand people have gathered, and we hear lots of Oktoberfest music, lots of beer, and lots of festivities. We can always look forward to something happening in Old Town Bluffton. In the month of October, we have the Art and Seafood Festival. That runs the 7th through the 14th. Calhoun Street will be filled as well with lots of local artwork by lots of low country artists. All things that everyone would love to participate in. Lots of fun events and activities as well. And then in the month of November, we have an art walk sponsored by Soba Galleries and the Old Town Bluffton Merchant Society. In December, we can look forward to the Christmas Parade, which is always held the first Saturday in December, and that kicks off our holiday shopping season in Old Town Bluffton. Lots of things are always happening, and Old Town Bluffton Merchant Society does a great job at supporting and promoting events in Old Town Bluffton District. I'd like to welcome you guys to stay attuned to the events that are going to be happening as I carry them coming up in the next several months. Thanks a lot, and oompa oompa.
Thanks so much, Rodney. Usually on the Bluffton News Pet of the Week, we introduce you to an adorable cat or dog looking for a forever home. Well, this week, meet Houdini. Houdini is a beautiful, pure white bunny with pretty blue eyes, sweet-natured and even-tempered. Houdini was left outside by a family that moved and rescued by the next-door neighbor. Just the right size for any home. Come and meet Houdini and fall in love. For more information about Houdini or other adoptable animals, please contact Brookshaven Animal Rescue at 843-757-7387. Thanks for joining us for the news program that is all Bluffton all the time. I'm Anneliza Itkor for the Bluffton News. We'll see you next time.